Hi everybody, it's Lee here and we're live. We're going to do some movement and some martial arts, some Hapkido, and I'm going to warm up with my physiotherapy stretches and then put into some yoga. We're going to incorporate that physiotherapy a lot more, just so we can get it done too, because I do need to keep up on my physiotherapy, especially after a period of time at work. So one of the leg extension with the therapy down. And I want to pigeon toe my foot outwards and extend. My knee is tracking forward, but my foot is tracking off at an angle, extending. So I'd stream in the morning because it's getting pretty warm out in the afternoon. I'm feeling like sweating too terribly much. I might end by using my foam roller as well. Now, as much as I say not to lock out the leg or the limbs, this exercise actually requires it. So one more. And I'll do the prone Supermans, and I'll move the mat out to the side and do the lateral walking to build a stabilization. This is getting easier for me too. There's some space, so there's some lateral movement. Get the resistance band around my ankle. So I'm going to be leaning forward, having my butt sticking out and moving, crab walking sideways with control. that off, put the mat back, and we'll get to some yoga. So this can replace the back kick and the knee kick. And then this is like the inside kick. Suspend myself from there for a bit. And then hook kick. Suspend myself. Doing a side plank. I just gotta swallow the wrong way. lower back pretty tight doing that. It shouldn't be. Upward dog. Roll the mat out of the way. Adjust the height on the camera. So we'll quickly go through some joint locking throwing techniques and use some parts of the body from my mannequin for examples. So the first set are a bunch of offensive techniques, and we start from our ready stance. Hands are brought gently forward. Feet are aligned like so. Back down, lower to the ground, and then just so you get an idea of the base that we're working off of. Heel to heel alignment, one foot's facing to the side and the other one's facing forward, relatively forward. Some people kind of pigeon toe this in for a little bit more stability for the striking arts, but for the softer style, it's usually Hapkido uses this stance, a variation of the stance, one side and the other. a different kind of footwork. So that's the base that we're working off, the static base. Stepping forward, grabbing both hands, grabbing the wrist with both hands, and using those pointer fingers when I'm grabbing the wrist. Palm is down. If they made a fist, it would be even easier to grab a hold and keep a hold the way the hand is shaped. So the first time I'm doing that grab, one on top of the other with the fingers in that pointer, like so. Crossover step forward, shuffle step. No, it is a crossover step. What am I talking about? Crossover step, swing the arm over top, and then crossover, going underneath the arm and bending it. I'll show that a couple times. Turning in place, so now I'm changing my stance. My heel is up. I'm starting off with that original stance. Grabbing the wrist, pushing it, got my arms straight, ducking underneath the arm and the wrist twisting. So what that would do is I'm the attacker, so the hand is grabbed, the arm is pushed to the side, and I'm compelled to either go backwards or fall backwards or get locked here with that previous movement. The next one, shuffle step, grab the hand, and when I'm grabbing that hand, I'm grabbing the hand and I'm taking my thumb or my thumbnail and pressing it into that pressure point between the forefinger and the thumb. That distracts them so I can do the technique and not get as much resistance out of the person that I'm doing it to. So shuffling this time instead of doing that cross-stepping. Shuffling, grabbing that arm, swinging up, going underneath, and locking that arm. And you don't want to hop, so just shuffle underneath and lock their arms. So what they look like is I've given them that zap on the pressure point, pushed the arm up and over, gone underneath them and locked their arm. So, and they can either fall back or be locked in this position. So grab the hand, move it up and around the back to lock them. Next one, crossover step, bringing that wrist and the arm forward that way, hitting the pressure point on the arm and ducking underneath and locking. One more time, and then I'll show you what it looks like to be on the receiving end of that. So I'm receiving end, the arm is grabbed, it's pushed that way, and you're pressing on the pressure point right about there on the arm, right about there on the arm. So we have to turn the arm so that that pressure point is open. If I try and do it on the flat of the arm, that's not going to have any effect. I need to turn that arm completely over to get access to that pressure point there. And that creates that distraction to do the rest of the technique. So pressure point is done. And then arm locks over like that. And then the palm is there to reinforce that shoulder action, that shoulder lock. Next one, shuffling forward, grabbing both hands, shifting that arm up, going underneath, and locking the wrist. I'll hyper exaggerate the range of motion because normally once you get them about here, it doesn't take too much of a wrist lock to hold them here, whereas that full range of motion, you definitely get them, but you want to get it on early, so shuffle in, grab both wrists in that same pointer finger thing that I was doing before. Use the wrist lock to push the elbow up. Go underneath their elbow, skip and turn and lock their wrist while their shoulder is raised. So what that looks like, wrist is grabbed, you're skipping underneath them, wrist is grabbed, the shoulder is raised, skip underneath, and locking, twisting and locking the wrist while pushing the arm up. And you can usually get them when you're about half to their side with holding on with both hands and doing that twist of their wrist with both hands and raising that arm. Next one is a fairly common one, even from Hapkido, so it's grabbing and twisting the wrist. You could even do that from here and lock the wrist. This just adds more rotationary momentum to it. So what's happening there is the wrist is being grabbed. You can either do a straight wrist lock down like that, using the wrist to go down like that, or you can go down and twist it instead of just going straight down, adding some rotation to that. So I'm scooping under. His hands are at the sides, or maybe a little bit forward, whichever way. I'm scooping, grabbing, and then turning palm side up and locking that wrist, or locking the wrist and rotating like so. So that happens, and maybe even more with that rotation, or just straight down. More on that, and then we'll get to the intermediate series. If you don't have time, just simple downward lock of the wrist will work. So this next set, the wrist is being grabbed. So the right wrist is being grabbed. I counter grab, turn that over, press against the thumb. So if I can grab, I counter grab, lock. The thumb would be on this side actually. So when it comes down to top of thing correct. My right wrist has been grabbed. I counter grab, turn so that the wrist is on the outside of the arm. And I'm pressing against the thumb with my hand to cause that grip to be broken and sliding on the arm and pressing. So grab, counter grab, press against the thumb, turn and arm lock, stepping into that arm lock so that break the grip, turn them, break the grip, and arm lock them. Grab, counter grab, turn, press against the thumb, lock the arm, and so I'm holding on to the wrist, and then I'm also pressing, rolling the tricep to lock the arm out. Counter grab, turn the wrist palm upward, break the thumb or release the hand, press up, and arm lock. The next one, I grabbed, I counter grab, I turn, give them a ham sandwich, and press into them. So what that looks like, I'll do that 2 more times. Boom, boom, press, counter grab, turn them. So counter grab, pressing their elbow into their body from that way and pressing and pushing them off balance. Grab, counter grab, turn. And because if I just had the elbow on the outside, then they're not moving anywhere. I want to, as I'm doing that, line their elbow up with the midsection of their body and twist and press against them. Counter grab, twist, press one more time. Grab, my hand has been grabbed. Trap their arm on hand underneath. I switch the grip. I twist and press. So they've grabbed, they've been counter grabbed, twisted, elbow into body, and press. Next one, I'm grabbed, do a bit of a cat stance, counter grab the hand, and then now we're in that same situation that we were in, twisting the person's wrist like we did in that previous set. Grab, counter grab, back again, lock with that. Circling around the outside, trapping, going underneath and twisting the wrist. Now this may not look like much because I don't have a partner with me, but so they've grabbed to the outside of them, twisting them and up with the elbow. They grabbed, they counter grabbed, twisted them, and with that double hand thing again, pushing the arm up so I can move through here, or at least turn and keep them here locked. Like so. Next one. I grabbed, I counter grab, I press into that pressure point going along and put them into an arm lock. And from another angle, I'm grabbed. I just lift my arm, press into that pressure point, step in, turn, and lock their arm. So grab and twisting them, like so. So the hands back, they grab, I trim that arm and lock their arm like so. Grab, and so that they end up in this chicken wing. So they grabbed, I just turn, put that pressure point on, swing their arm around. So now their elbow is at my left palm, and my right hand is grabbing that wrist and twisting it and holding it in place so that palm on the elbow, and the wrist is bent and in that arm lock. So it's pretty warm. I think that's where we're going to end the stream today. Next time we'll do more, but I think that was a good amount of movement. It was more than 17 minutes, so it was about 30 minutes. Do keep in mind, if you haven't done anything with soft style arts, if you're practicing this with somebody, go on it very slow. Don't just snap their wrist or break their elbow or dislocate their elbow or shoulder. Just put it on lightly until they tap you or say, that's enough. Respect your partner. Some of those little things like grabbing the fingers and locking. Or hitting those pressure points. We'll just do a quick review of the pressure points and then go over finger locks. So you've got your hand, and you want to try and grab the little fingers so you can manipulate them, and I'll use my hand. You can grab one or two of the little fingers and turn it up palm facing and trap it any which way you can, whether you've got your thumb lock or you're just grabbing and cranking up to control them. But do it slowly to a partner. Don't just snap. So you get what I mean. I'm showing you a different technique, but you're still getting the idea of just slowly working to that range of motion. This is against the natural joint of the fingers. So get that idea. And then that pressure point again in between forefinger and thumb, and pressing in with your thumb or nail. And you can keep opposite pressure by having this hand here so that you can stop the hand from moving and press deeper in that pressure point. That was one of the openings that we've done. And then we did a wrist lock off of that while keeping that pressure point on the thumb. And we've got that pointer finger happening. So a few technical things, more technical than punching, blocking, and kicking sometimes. You go over a stance and some footwork, crossover step and shuffle step. So as it's starting to get really warm where I am, I'm gonna go raid somebody, and then we'll see you back at stream some other time. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoy what you see and you learn something new, even if it's just one particular thing like a pressure point or a stance or a lock or a throw. If you do like what you see, please subscribe and follow. We'll find someone to so some of those throws, I mean, I could just throw them and let them fall whichever way, but some of those I can actually bring them down to the ground with control and pin them down to the ground, or I can just, some of those I can just do the wrist lock or the shoulder lock and use that to throw them. They'd be compelled to fall backwards or to go to the ground, whatever position they might be in. And we'll we'll see who else is doing fitness and health. Looks like we've got some kind of subscribe to earn rewards on Apple TV. It's a new promotion that Twitch is doing out. So get rewards by purchasing or gifting subscriptions while they're live in any category. And that's a limited promotion. It's going till August 19th. I'll try and stream a bit more then during that time. But that is a nice promotion that Twitch is doing for its streamers. We're not going to complain about that. Bunch of people doing health and wellness, but looks like it's weightlifting. Zed with the 3. We'll go on him because he's got one person. Thanks for everybody for joining me. When we get there to Zed with the 3, just type in chat if you're there. And we'll see you again in a couple days. Going ahead with that raid now.